national security. As a matter of fairness to our friends and our neighbors, we need to bring back our factories. We need to bring back our factories because
turn the volume up so loud and you can hear it all the way in the swamp.
Even our treaty allies and friends were denying us personal protective equipment and medicines. So how could we rely on a country like China that declares us to be an enemy? So I hope that whoever wins in November will spend all of their time thinking about how we can protect the United States through trade, through investment, through intellectual property protection.
Instead of screwing us over, stabbing us in the back.
Getting products from overseas, and it's coming overseas, and they're sitting at a port, and so they say, well, you know, we'll keep the port open 24/7. Well, here's the problem. You got labor unions, you got contractors, you got truck drivers, you got automated. Just because the port is open doesn't mean somebody's working at the port. Everybody wants to show up. You got truck drivers, and that truck driver, he's supposed to be there at Monday at 8 a.m. and it's Saturday and it's ready to go, but no one's there to move the product. So the product sits out on the water and the price goes up, up, up. Meanwhile, you just order it on your phone on Amazon and it's not coming.
Very good. Okay, now we turn it over to Jeff.
This format gives me the last word. It's very interesting, but before preparing for this debate, I began to look back at what Congress can and cannot do. I mean, it's a problem for the next, 2 years. I noticed that the Constitution gives, yes, authority over spending, but two areas that are not often addressed. One concerns the trade power. That belongs under the Constitution to Congress. Congress gave it up sometime around World War II. One wonders if maybe that should rebalance itself, throwing that out there. Another concerns a very interesting issue. Some people have mentioned here the Federal Reserve. Congress can grill the chairman of the Federal Reserve, but actually the Constitution gives authority over money to Congress itself. I think it's been a very long time since that topic's been addressed, but if we're going to get serious about thinking about how the Constitution plays into, the management of this country and start taking it seriously, I might just throw out those couple of ideas, and I'd like to thank all three of the gentlemen for giving such precise.
These are nonprofits to be able to educate our students on these issues.
Trust but verify, and we can do that through the budget. We can have what gets measured gets done, and so you want to make sure we give clear direction, but we have a measure of what's done, and if it's not, you defund it and you restart the program, if that's what we choose to do. But again, I don't think this is a controversial thing to make sure that our people, who actually, if we want to talk about good legal immigration, we expect them to know, and they're excited to know about it. So I have no problem with people understanding America.
Both Republican and Democratic administrations and legislatures have failed to take on this problem in a meaningful way and provide a fix for border security or an immigration system that has integrity. What 3 to 5 things would you do to fix our borders? What are your principles protecting the homeland?
First, I think it's very important to thank you, the men and women that wear the uniform, not just the United States Army and the Air Force and other military, but also the folks in law enforcement, the blue, who have to uphold our laws here at home. Because it's not just about the border, it actually infiltrates into our homes. And actually, I was very disappointed. I got to be a part, work on some legislation here in the Tennessee Senate that actually had to deal with immigration because the feds didn't. And some refugees and immigrants came in the middle of the night. No one knew where they went. Even one of the children were molested. It was a terrible situation. But it was something, because it wasn't dealt with on the feds, it's still the buck stops here with the states. Again, repeal the 17th Amendment, give the states their voice, and maybe they can get some answers from Washington. But it's not just enough to go get your picture taken at the border, cute, look at me, look, I'm at the border. What are you going to do, right? Look, very clear. We want to stop illegal immigration. I'm not a proponent of amnesty by any means. Amnesty is immigration without, any consequence. No. There's consequence when you come here illegally. But our immigration laws also haven't been reformed since 1986, I believe. And that was 1 year before I was born. We've got to give people a clear pathway to citizenship so we can get them a Social Security, We can get them in the workforce, and we can also allow them to pay their fair share for the same things that we enjoy. It's not enough. They come here and they live off our tax money, and that's not okay. So you clearly need to give a clear pathway to citizenship. We've got to protect our borders, strong national defense, back the blue so we can catch you when you get here legally, and we've got to make sure that employers aren't hiring illegals and having them benefit without paying their fair share.
Deterrence is capability times will. We have the capability to shut the border down. Now, I've been in many countries where they do this, the Middle East. We're encouraging Ukraine to try to close their border, protect their country. We don't have the will to do that in America. Not because we don't agree it's the right thing. We don't have the political will. And we've got the muscle to exert this. I didn't mention it before, but we talk about the overdoses and that being a national crisis. I think we underplay what's really going on here. One of the other candidates we're running with, he's a first responder here in Tennessee. He talks about 12 to 15 overdoses every week just on his team. There's dozens and dozens of teams. In Tennessee, Nashville, there's about 18,000 overdoses this year. Now, they're not all fatal. The fatal component is about 107,000 this year. Folks, we can't bring back. And I don't know how many of you are football fans, but think about Neyland Stadium. If you put 5,000 people at the bottom of Neyland Stadium, fill the stadium, and it's gone. Is that not worth saving? Is that not worth a mission, our president? I think we can do more. Thank you.
Also helped protect our Western audience. It disabused for them the lies in this propaganda. Our reporting has also helped uncover how communist ideas are taking root in our own country. The Epoch Times started as a small and unknown publication in one of the toughest media markets in the world. We have built it through hard work and trial and error.
We were founded in the year 2000 in Atlanta, Georgia, by Chinese Americans who had fled communist China. Our independent reporting came at a price. Our staff members in China were jailed and tortured for their reporting, some for as long as 10 years. Because our founders believed in truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance, the principles of the spiritual practice Falun Gong, they felt such sacrifices were worth it to ensure for the world an independent, honest media, one that